So I'm going to tell you about my favorite chart pattern by far. These are my reasons. You might be a little different, but I'll tell you my reasons. But spoiler alert, the last two are probably the most critical and specific for this pattern. Let's start with the core reasons first on why this pattern is my absolute favorite. Reason number one, it's not a classical pattern like a head and shoulders pattern. It's also not a 1, 2, 3 bar reversal pattern like a doji. It's an XABCD style of pattern for consistency reasons, as it presents itself the exact same way every time. It's built up on Fibonacci ratios that measure both up and down, or price action, and how long it took to form each price pattern point, which is time. Where most of these other chart patterns that you see, these older classical patterns, will only use price, leading to more inconsistency. So my favorite chart pattern will fall into the category of either a retracement time pattern or an extension time pattern, which is an XABCD pattern that uses both time and price ratios. Here's a list of them on the screen, and we're going to narrow these down. Reason number two is that it won't matter if this pattern is in a trend or a range or a counter trend type setup. They work in all three. So it's probably one of the most versatile patterns, and it doesn't matter if it's a summer where we might do more range trading or during the Santa Claus rally where we're more trending. ETP patterns can be used in all sorts of these situations. So now we know it's going to be a classification of XABCD patterns called ETP patterns, or extension time patterns, and there's 4 of them. Reason number 3 is that this pattern is very easy to understand. Now, to be fair, all these XABCD patterns are easy to understand once you know what to look for. So that won't help us get any closer, but it is a big reason of why I use these patterns over classical chart patterns, which might be more vague since they have less consistency. Reversal areas, stops, targets are all easily defined in an XABCD pattern. Now, we do have a course. It is totally free. You can just go on our live chat and ask them for it. It's not publicly available on YouTube, but if you want that added content, go to xabcdtrading.com, go onto our live chat, say, hey, can I grab that course from you? We'll send you a link. Reason number 4 is that the frequency of this pattern is enough when using the scanner to pick it up. So we have a market analyzer template. It scans for these extension time patterns, and when we get alerted to them, they pop up enough where we have enough frequency in our trading to be using them quite often. So they're not a more rare pattern that hardly shows. It is one that you do get more frequent alerts on. Now, not the most frequent, but it's frequent enough. Reason number 5 is that this pattern has a big enough reversal area which allows you more flexibility to line it up with maybe another strategy that you use, right? Maybe you're going to use the patterns with something else, but I use these with support and resistance, and you can line these up in trend channels, in ranges, in counter trend channels. It actually works really well that way. So the big reversal area leading to more flexibility is definitely a pro. So reason number 6 is that we have a pretty low B point on this pattern, meaning that your risk versus reward can be really good. And who doesn't like a lot of reward for less risk? So of course, if we have that, we definitely want to be able to utilize it. That does give us a few more options. We go into more detail on that, but this is definitely a core reason of why I like this specific pattern. So we narrowed this down. My favorite pattern is by far the ETP4 pattern. It doesn't mean it's the only one I trade, but you can find others in good situations too. However, if you had me picking just one, this would be my favorite and at the top of my list.